Travel. We all love to do it. You love it, your girlfriend loves it, all the girls I try and pick up at the bar especially love it. We all love to travel. Yet, when it comes to traveling, there is an itty bitty tiny thing that can sometimes ruin the experience. And that is... Now, as a professional traveler, YouTuber, and internet professor of Balkan retardation with a minor in economics, I've seen more tourists than a 21-year-old Instagram model has seen unsolicited phallus pictures. And as I am the most humble, good-looking, and caring person alive, I've decided to share with you, my dear viewer, my revolutionary findings so you too can better stereotype people and make the world a worse place. So without further ado, let's begin. First and foremost, we got the basic bitch of the crop, your typical backpacker. Now, these guys are usually your broke 20-year-old somethings whose entire personality revolves around the number of countries they visited. If they were furries, their persona would be the American cockroach, the Periplanta americana. Much like a cockroach, these guys can survive the most inhospitable habitats if that means they'll save $5. You can find them in shady hostels, usually in the part of town not even the local drug dealers dare to tread in, as there you can find a bed for under $7 a night. And again, much like a cockroach, if you found one, there's most likely hundreds nearby. They mainly sustain themselves via the Lidl bakery, and you can easily recognize them by the massive backpack they carry everywhere, as paying for a storage facility to store it there is too out of budget for them. If the backpacker is afraid to spend one dime unnecessarily, the American Evangelical tourist is the polar opposite. They come with money and they are unafraid to spend it. Usually, the American Evangelical is a 65-plus-year-old overweight Midwesterner or Texan who just recently retired from their career from some corporate job they've wasted their youth on trying to climb the corporate ladder and are going through a second midlife crisis and therefore divorce. And due to excess time, they've decided to go travel the world. Usually, they will travel in organized group tours. Almost anywhere they go, they travel in the newest and most luxurious bus equipped with the newest JBL sound system, power outlets, AC, and most importantly, cup holders. They will never stay at a hotel rated less than 4 stars and a hotel that doesn't have breakfast included. They're easily recognizable, as usually you can spot them wearing a shirt with their tour company's logo, or if they're feeling really stylish, a Hawaiian shirt, sunglasses, baseball cap, and of course, the trusted tour company headset to listen to the guide. Most prominently, you can find these guys in Israel, Paris, and whatever other overrated European destination exists. If you work in the service industry, be extremely nice to them, as they will easily give you $100 tip because they think you're a poor underprivileged soul and they're now free to do God's work unrestricted by their bitch ex-wife Karen.
I'm a spiritual, lyrical, individual, spiritual.
If you thought a Chinese tour group in London was bad, you've clearly never met a white girl in India. If insufferable in the dictionary had a picture, hers would be there. Usually the enlightened white girl tourist is a late 20s to an early 40s woman from some major liberal hotspot in the US like LA or Portland. They usually tend to go to India, Thailand, or Sri Lanka as a means of spiritually finding themselves. Their entire personality is the fact that they do yoga, are vegan, and that they converted to Buddhism, despite the fact they have no idea what's the difference between Vajrayana Buddhism and Mahayana Buddhism. They are obsessed with finding their self-peace and will constantly preach about it, even though they suffer from a terminal case of BPD. It's funny because, so do I. In public, they're easily identifiable as they wear their hair in a messy bun, are constantly in loose elephant pants, the street vendor in Delhi most likely overcharged them for, and most importantly, they don't wear a bra because it either restricts your chakra or it's an instrument of the patriarchy to keep women down. Now, if a superiority complex could be personified, then that person would be the European tourist in America. Usually this archetype is either French or German or some other ethnic group that has been deemed privileged enough that left-leaning YouTubers will joke about their ethnicity thinking that that makes them edgy and funny. It doesn't. The only reason they came to America is because of Hollywood movies and their parents have way too much money. How do they have that much? I don't know, their dad probably works in transport logistics or some shit. They can usually be found in the most popular American cities such as New York, LA, San Francisco, or Chicago, and never in God's chosen land, Detroit. Throughout their entire stay there, they will not shut up for 5 seconds about how much better Europe is and how unwalkable the cities are in America, how barbaric they are for not having free healthcare, and how fat Americans are, how uneducated and stupid the population is, and blah 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 blah. Their American host will just keep on nodding and give them a polite smile, cutting down the days until this unbearable twat goes back to their utopia and leaves them alone. Note, if they consume anything spicier than salt, they will end up in the ER. Do with that information what you will.
Uite, Constanța! Yes, mai avem puțin! Costinești!
In the European category, we also have the Balkaner. Unlike most tourists mentioned so far, the Balkaner usually makes less than 500 euros a month, and this is the first time they've left the country in 5 years. Their entire budget for a week's trip is 100 euros, half of which were acquired through either slots or going all in on Lazio at Balkan Bet. Translator's note: bets placed on SS Lazio tend to fall apart like a columnist's faith in God after his dog dies. Usually you will find them in exotic destinations such as Budva, Montenegro, or Paralia, Greece, where they will come via Golf 1 with a 1.9 TDI with a suitcase filled with pate, bread, coffee, salt, and a full carton of cigarettes because God forbid you have to pay €1 extra for lung cancer. They will spend their entire vacation on the beach while crashing at a beach house belonging to one of their Godfather's colleagues that gave them a severe family and friends discount. Despite their dire financial status, they're here to have fun, and by God, they will. And last but not least, we have the missionaries. Now, the missionaries are a particular type that are mostly found in the most tripster of destinations. These guys usually belong to some heretical church like the Mormons or some other no one has ever heard of except for their small Colorado town. Usually they are in their early to mid 20s. The only curse word they've ever said was frick, and because of it they were grounded for 2 weeks. They've never seen Harry Potter because wizardry and witchcraft is the work of the devil, and they have been sent by their church to some place in Africa even God forgot he created. While there, they're basically providing kids education and food, while also not shutting up about God and how much he loves them. And the locals only take this because, hey, at least they're not a Lazio better. Although kinda weird, they're nowhere near as obnoxious as the previously mentioned tourists. All in all, if you're any of these types of tourists, the locals hate you and pray to God that he does not ghost you when you meet him at the pearly gates like the girls I hit up on Instagram ghosted me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click that like and subscribe button and give it a share. And if you really enjoyed it, become a member like these wonderful people so I can make more videos where I complain about insignificant things. Don't forget to check out the ironicshop.com where you can get some awesome t-shirts and my board game where you can decide the borders of the Balkans yourself. My name is Janos and you've watched Living Ironically in Europe.
Hey, why are